Welcome to our monthly meet and greet. My name is Allison Lauer. I'm the executive director, and it's so nice to see so many faces and some new faces. This is our monthly 30-minute Zoom call. We have restructured this call to focus on Young Children Priority 1, where we bring guest speakers in from all over the state, experts and leaders in early childhood to speak for about 15 minutes. Then we have a Q&A section, and then we wrap up our call. For those of you that are just joining us for the first time, this is recorded and it's shared on our website as well as our social media outlets. So without any further delay, I would like to introduce our guest speaker tonight. Her name is Catherine Kenner. She's a licensed and certified kindergarten teacher at St. Peter's Catholic School in DeLand, Florida. She has a Bachelor of Science degree in art education from the University of Wisconsin. She loves reading stories, singing songs, and watching her students learn and grow. I hope today before our call you downloaded her handout. And if not, we'll go ahead and resend that out tomorrow and attach it online. So without any further delay, I'm going to go ahead and turn over our call to Catherine.
Thank you very much. Hi, my name is Catherine, or as my students call me, Miss Katie, and I am coming to you live from the kindergarten classroom. And it is at St. Peter Catholic School in DeLand. And since it's a Catholic school, I thought I would start with a bit of a confession. It's a little controversial confession, but the title of today's presentation was Kindergarten Readiness. And I'll admit, I don't believe there's such a thing as kindergarten readiness. Now, you might be surprised by that, but I say that because as a teacher, I'm ready for any kid that walks in that door. I believe it's my job to welcome them, nurture them, help them grow. That being said, there are definitely tips and tricks I can put in place that will make them successful. So it's my goal today to share 9 tricks with you that will help children shine. I thought we would play a game. I mean, it is a kindergarten classroom. So since there are 9 tips, I have 9 colorful bags. I'm going to start with the blue one. And my hope is that either through the chat or you can just go ahead and speak up. I won't make you raise your hand. You can pick a bag and we'll see what's inside. Want to play? So I'm going to start with the blue one because there is one thing that you do definitely have to do to be ready for kindergarten. The blue bag matches the self-care on the handout. The only time I have ever said a kid was not kindergarten ready is if they weren't potty trained. I've got 2 bathrooms in my classroom, and in the year 2022, I'm not allowed to go in the bathroom with any children. So everything has to be fully independent. The picture on your handout has a bar of soap for the bathroom, but then it also has some clothes on there. And the reason that is much of the goal for these 9 tricks is to make them comfortable so they don't feel embarrassed. If you are a grandparent or a parent, number 1, make sure they can do all the clothes by themselves. You don't want me in front of the rug, brown bear, brown bear. All of a sudden Jimmy comes out like penguin walking because he can't get his pants up. So trick number 1, avoid embarrassment and make sure they can do clothing by themselves. Would anybody like to pick a bag?
Let's go with this, a yellow one, blue and gold for Kiwanis.
Oh, good choice, good choice. There's a couple things in this one. The yellow is for the pencils and markers. Now I chose yellow because if your kid is working on handwriting, I often will write in yellow marker and then let them go over it in pencil. I tell the kids that there's a lot of tips and tricks because your kid will be exposed to crayons, markers, pencils, glue. We'll talk about some of that today. But I say, take the cap, have it go for a ride on top, then they don't lose it. far as pencils go, I kind of wrote this speech imagining that it was mostly grandparents working at home with young children. And the best way to learn is through play. So all of these tips can be used as if you were playing school. Let's say you have a kid and you're helping them with pencil skills. First of all, we no longer make them right-handed or left-handed. Whatever hand they naturally are is okay. If you're not sure which hand your kid has, you could throw something at them and see what they grab with. Or if you want to be a little more gentle, hand them a plate of cookies and see what they reach with. Kids are often struggling with pencil grip. So here's a tip. Take a Kleenex, ball it up, tell them, don't let go of the Kleenex. You'll see that they have to hold on to it with these fingers, and then that helps them get the right grip.
Yeah. Somebody said, huh?
And you can do it with a pom or whatever, as long as these helper fingers are holding on. Who's next?
One that matches your fingernails. That's cerise pink.
Ooh. Barbie pink, if you were a kindergarten. We've got name game. This is a nameplate that I would put on the desk. And the reason I have this on here, a lot of these seem so simple, but they're so important. Practice talking to the child about their name, because they're going to be with strangers. Imagine they go into the cafeteria and a lunch lady says, "What's your name?" You don't want them to freeze. Go a step further and practice saying things like, "What's your first name? What's your full name? What's your last name? What's your mom's name?" Because most kids will say, "Mom." No, what's your mom's name? These are all safety things that will help with kindergarten, especially if they have to ride the bus.
I'm seeing spots before my eyes. How about the small one?
Okay, you guys are funny too. Ooh, this bag has a couple of things. This bag has cut and glue. So I'm gonna get all three out, so you're not having to wonder what's inside. We've got glue, scissors, and Play-Doh. I love little rhyming things. So many of these things sort of rhyme. With glue, if you're playing with glue at home when you're playing preschool, ... not a lot. It's a good tip for the glue. You're using with scissors. Okay. I will have parents come up to me at meet and greet and say, "I'm too scared to give little Meredith scissors." Well, would you rather have Meredith practice one-on-one at the kitchen table with you, or with 29 other kids for the first time? Start at home, start simple. We explicitly talk about the different shapes in the scissors. And then it's kindergarten, so we sing. And I say, "My thumb is on the top. I cut, 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 cut. My thumb is on the top. I cut, 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 only on paper." We get very serious about that last part. But then you can change up the verses. You can say, "Do I cut my hair? No, no, no. Do I cut my friends? No, no, no. Do I cut my clothes? No, no, no. Only on paper." So that's our scissor thing. The last bonus in here was Play-Doh. If I could only have one thing in my classroom, it would be Play-Doh. That's all I need. Play-Doh and maybe a pencil. The reason is Play-Doh is so good for their fine motor skills. Did you know that little babies, and even a lot of the little 5-year-olds in my room, have like 300 bones, whereas adults only have 200? Because they haven't fused together. And the thing that's hardest for them is the little fine motor in their hands. Squeezing Play-Doh is huge for them. You might have heard in my intro that my background is art education. I would do lessons with kinder that was just ripping paper. Because between squeezing and ripping, that will help with handwriting.
Wow.
Blue stripes.
Blue stripes? Blue stripes. I should almost ask for drum rolls. Drum roll, please. Got a storybook in here. It says read, rhyme, and sing. Countless studies have said the number one predictor of academic success for children is reading at home, reading every single day. And it really doesn't matter what you're reading. As long as they see the book and you, and they start to connect, oh, books are love, books are fun, books are enjoyment. You can get more technical. You can talk about, they call it concepts of print, how the words go on the page. You can talk about front cover, back cover, spine. You can sing songs. The author writes the words. The author writes the words. Hi ho, librario. The author writes the words, and then the illustrator draws the pictures. Even really little kids, if they start to get bored with the book, sometimes I won't read the words and I'll just make up stuff, especially silly sounds. Like if there's a car, I'll say, honk, honk, beep, beep, traffic jam. Oh, I'm late for work. What do you think is going to happen next? It doesn't matter. They just need to see that connection of love and reading. Oh, and rhymes. I say nursery rhymes, go old school. Hearing the rhymes are really good for kids. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. The fancy term is one-to-one correspondence. Seeing if a kid can say one number for each thing they count. Sometimes you'll get a kid say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, slow down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 bags left. Anyone have a preference?
How about the big one in the back?
Oh, go big or go home. Here we go. It's actually the lightest bag. This one is letters and numbers. And if you saw the handout, you might be confused because there's a picture of cereal on there. The reason is, as much as you can, notice letters and numbers in your environment. You can go on a letter scavenger hunt. Look at cereal boxes, look at cans of soup. Look for numbers in the Weekly Shopper magazine. Also, when it comes to letters and numbers and seeing it in print, you also want to practice hearing it. New studies are saying that kids read with their ears first, which at first is surprising because they need to hear the sounds. So if you're setting out dinner, say, could you pass me the cup?
You went away.
Oh, what's ironic
You
is
are.
I was being muted as I was saying, listen for sounds. So
Uh,
listen for sounds as you set down the cup and say cup. What sound do you hear in cup? C says cup. So letters, numbers, sounds in your environment. Or even if you go to McDonald's, look at the M. Oh, it's gonna be delicious. 3 more.
Polka dot.
Okay. Oh, now we're getting into some trouble. This is where we have trouble at school. We have stand in line and take turns. Now, a good rule for lining up is to talk about lining up maybe when you go to the grocery store. Specifically say, I am standing in line. I'm just waiting. Sometimes in life we have to just wait. The line is a quiet zone. Am I gonna push the person in front of me at Walmart? No, no, I'm just gonna stand in line. You also would be surprised to know that I teach straight up the first week of school, what is a line? And I'll take counting bears. And I take my table here. I'll show them. Now the bears are in line. This is how we're gonna stand. Line up. I also recommend for taking turns, go to a playground, stand back and watch how your child plays with other children. As long as they're safe, they might get into little conflicts, but see how they handle it. Because most of the problems happen during unstructured play. Now, if you're imagining school, Miss Grandma, could you tell me the rules of the playground? Now, I'm pretty sure you know the rules, even if it's not the school playground. Feet first, all those little like feet first on the slide, don't climb up. Tell the children the rules of the playground.
Lavender,
Okay, this one?
that's fine.
This one, we've got win or lose. So I've got it on some cards. Play games with the children and beat them on purpose, because you don't want the first time the kid loses to be in the middle of the class. And I've seen Candyland pieces go flying across the room. That's a big part of kindergarten, is learning how to lose. So play games and beat them. Or if they do beat you, show them how to be a gracious loser. Good game, good game. All right, I know it's last.
Oh, I wanted to pick that one.
Oh, maybe I have another one underneath. No, I don't. I don't. If I
Okay,
wasn't
I want the
happy-
lavender one.
Okay, all right.
Can't take me anywhere.
Do. Snack,
Ooh,
snacks and lunch.
ooh.
This is the most popular snack I've seen in classrooms, goldfish. Now, it says snack specifically. We have a snack in our room. You have to teach kids what a snack is, because I had an experience my first year teaching. You know, we set up the snack, I'm walking around and I look over and I say, Franklin, where's your food? Oh, I ate it. Franklin, you had a meatball sub. It is 9:02 a.m. You ate that whole thing. What are you going to eat for lunch, Franklin? Well, I don't know. He ate all of it. So you have to say, this is your snack. This is your lunch. As far as lunch goes, practice eating before school anything that you would pack. Can your kid open that Go-Gurt? Can their little hands get that Lunchable open? If not, maybe you don't pack it for the first day. There's always lunchroom helpers. Sometimes the kids are shy, or sometimes it's a long time before the teacher gets around. So make sure they can open all their snacks. We did it. That's my 9 tips for kindergarten readiness.
Cool.
Thank you.
Very good.
What questions? And I always say, instead of saying, are there any questions? Because that's yes or no. I either will say, what questions do you have? Or give me 3 questions. So give me some questions, please.
Will this work with my dogs?
You know what? I actually went to some dog training, and one of the things I did learn with the dogs is they say before you go on a walk, make sure the dog sits before you go. So we don't go in the hallway until everyone's ready. I'll wait. So that is a little dog training. And I do give M&M treats, just like I give my dog treats. When he sits, sit. Oh, good. Shh, quiet. Here's an
I guess this is a comment more than anything. You've heard the phrase, everything I needed to know about life I learned in kindergarten. Well,
Absolutely.
I didn't go to kindergarten. I did it all tonight. So now I'm prepared for the world.
Excellent.
So we can expect you to change. That's good.
No, I didn't say that.
That was neat. Let's face it. I have never thought about training in kindergarten, except possibly when I was 4. It's been a while since I've been 4, and I've never
We
had
actually,
kids.
first week is kindergarten training. So we have train themed that first week.
Oh,
I've never seen a classroom look like yours. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure, I can even show you around a little bit. This is my classroom. I've got my sister there. Hello. I almost always keep the lights off. I like to keep it a very calm environment.
Mhm.
The art teacher in me has it very colorful. I put a lot of student work up, but other than that, I also put a lot of academic things up, but I try to make it as homey as possible. That's something that's important to me, is that the children feel really comfortable here.
It's a great idea.
How
That's
many
beautiful.
children are in your classroom?
This year I have 17.
Do you have an assistant?
I do. I have a wonderful assistant, and she's been in this room alone for 15 years.
Wow.
She's a little over 20 years teaching, and so that's wonderful.
What kind of games do you play?
There are little games that we play. The first game I teach them is rock, paper, scissors. Sometimes people are at the door and I have to quick get something out. I will admit that this year was a really hard year for me to teach because they call these the COVID babies, and they did not know how to play at the start of the year. I took them out to recess the first day and they stood there and I said, go play. And they said, how? Try the slide. I mean, I have a lot of kids who they were quarantined their whole life, who hadn't been to a parade. So when I read a book about a parade, they don't know what that is. I had to teach them the most basic. I had to teach them patty cake. I had to start at square one with playing.
Do you have many kids that just refuse to share?
That's a good question. Not really. And one of the reason is I don't believe in forced sharing. And the story I heard to help you understand that is if you're on your phone sending an email and somebody says, give me your phone right now, you would say, no, I'm doing something.
Mhm.
And they would say, no, your brother needs your phone. No, I'm doing something. But if you say, you're more of a narrator, I notice you're using your phone and your brother also needs it. What could we do? The children will often say, oh, I'll finish this email and then it's yours. So by giving more ownership to the child, then they resist less.
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
How is technology changing the kindergarten experience, like with texting or Alexa?
Well, first of all, we have an Allie, and we call her Allie because if you say her name, Alexa starts listening. There are some parts of technology I love. My Allie is so important because they'll ask questions about a duck and, hey, Allie, make a duck sound. And it's right there. It's instant answers to questions. But I'm using less technology lately, especially with those COVID babies. They're good at iPads. They know an iPad. They might not be as good at, like we were talking about with sharing. So in part of it's great because it can enhance my lesson, but I definitely don't lean on it very much.
Do 5-year-olds come in with phones?
They're only the 8th graders at my school are allowed to have phones. So they don't bring them to school, but they have them at home.
We'll be sharing the handout again on our social medias and also Catherine's social media, so you can follow her throughout her school year and any other tips or tricks that she may be sharing. So thank you all for joining us. I hope you have a great night and we'll see you next month.